Hey everybody, in this video I'll be reacting and responding to Matt Diavella's latest video titled I Wore the Same Shirt Every Day for 3 Years. Quite the eye-catching title, and of course actually true, not clickbait. He actually did. So I already watched the video, but I wanted to give my reaction and response to it since we're both in the personal development space, and he is, of course, maybe the top personal development YouTuber on the planet right now, with hundreds of thousands of views per video, if not millions. So I found this very interesting, and of course, he's definitely rather extreme in some of his approaches to a lot of things, which just so happens to work very well for YouTube and gets him a lot of views. And I wanted to kind of contrast my own knowledge and experience through various experts of fashion, of career, and of many other areas, symmetry, aesthetics, dating, to kind of give some more of a counterbalanced response to his whole philosophy and message. So you find out that he wore the same shirt, more or less, well, two colors, charcoal and a lighter gray, J. Crew T-shirt from for about 3 years, excluding dates and weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff like that. And he found that it really helped simplify. He was able to throw out most of the stuff, if not all the stuff, that he realized he never wore anyways. There's stuff with tags on it that he still had in his closet that he never wore. And most surprisingly, he realized that no one really ever noticed. None of his YouTube following really even noticed. If anything, they cried out when he wore something different, like a sweatshirt when it wasn't that t-shirt. And so his whole message is kind of like stop caring about wearing different things. If it's a hassle, don't do it. And then he goes on a 2 minute discussion on how what decision fatigue is and why you should not do it. So that's the summary of the video, and my thoughts on this are actually a little bit different. Now, I respect his thoughts and ideas. However, I do emphatically think that there's a huge benefit to having a little bit more of a varied wardrobe. And of course, I don't mean a vast wardrobe, because the other extreme, of course, has all the issues he's mentioned: hoarding, buying a bunch of stuff that he hasn't, that you don't wear with the tag still on them. And it was through my many years of discovering fashion and timeless style and learning from many YouTubers, and eventually finding the fashion YouTuber that worked for me, which was Ashley Weston, where I discovered the whole idea of a capsule or essential wardrobe. And that is maybe the best way of going about it. Because with the extremes mentioned of just having all this clothes, which is what I did before. I used to buy stuff that just caught my eye, and I realized I had all these t-shirts, some of which were too flashy, that I never wore or never felt comfortable wearing. And then, that's a waste of money, and then, that's a waste of time as well. Now, decision fatigue is a real thing. And from the career and life perspective, I could totally see why he would make that argument. However, I think he's more catering to a younger, a new, beginner personal development audience who doesn't know about these basics like decision fatigue. Now, the issue is, most of the time when decision fatigue is brought up, the example is someone who is extremely high stress, high status, and has a very busy life. You and I, and most of us, do not fall into that category. We are not Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, President Barack Obama, all of which, have a very streamlined lifestyle where other people choose what they eat, choose what they wear when they were in their prime, as a president or running their company. And so, to equivocate that same, to use the same parallel would be a little more than a leap to us. We don't necessarily need to conserve every tiny bit of our decision energy. That is a real thing, and it correlates with research on willpower as a muscle. However, we really don't need to do that. Our lives are not as stressful, and many of us don't really need to make these critical business or political decisions. Therefore, we have much more energy to use. So we should actually use a little bit of it with our fashion sense and style. Now, he's gotten away with it, but he also admits that, part of the reason for that is because he works at home even before the pandemic. So he's not really running into people for him to give him that feedback. And so I think that is a part of it. Having been a person who doesn't work from home before the pandemic and does interact with people, I will say that most people, especially if they are young men like me, somewhat nerdy, they don't notice. They don't care. They don't notice. They also have pretty bad fashion. And that makes sense. And so, yes, there is a certain benefit to that. And I noticed it and I'm aware of it and I explored it as well with my capsule wardrobe. And just to give you a quick definition, if you're like, what the heck is an essential capsule wardrobe? It's essentially having maybe 4 to 10 items for every category, a top, a bottom, and maybe socks, underwear, and a jacket and blazer. But it's essentially anywhere from 2 to 10, depending on how essential you want to go. 2 to 10 outfits for about the 4 or 5 main categories. Maybe even less if you want to go there. There's like innerwear, outerwear, bottoms, and that's about it. Jackets. And so by choosing versatile colors and pieces for each of these, you can create permutations or combinations into the hundreds, if not thousands. Think about it. If I have 3 types of t-shirts, 3 colors of t-shirts, 2 colors of dress shirts, 3 jackets, a leather jacket, a bomber jacket, chinos, and dark wash jeans. Run the numbers. That's already, at least 100 combinations you can go with. So you can see where we can go with this. And then if you add in a couple more Oxford dress shirts, regular dress shirts, you can see where things can go. And so the benefit to having this is it's interchangeable and people do notice. It may not be that young men the young man who also is oblivious to fashion, but women notice, especially if you're single and that matters. Women notice. They look at your shoes. They look at your outfits. If you're just wearing the same t-shirt every day, that's going to come across neutral at best, maybe a little below average. Even Matt D'Avella mentions and acknowledges in his video that he broke his own rule of wearing the same shirt every day when he went on dates with his wife. Obviously, he's off the hook to an extent because now he has a wife. However, even then, the game is never over. You still have to impress your wife. And so that's a huge component of it. Your employers care about how well you dress. Maybe some don't because of the casual startup tech environment. And so you can get away with that. But, trust me, people care and judge you and treat you different off what you wear. And, you might not think that's a good thing. And I didn't for a while. But I realized, to an extent, they appreciate it. And it's not always a bad thing, but people do notice. And I've tested this out myself. I've worn dress shirts, Oxfords, suit jackets, all sorts of different types of outfits. And sometimes I'll get compliments, which I've never got before back in high school and before that time when I wore whatever I want, hoodies and whatnot. And, people will notice. Other male coworkers or friends will sometimes perk up on that. Sometimes it's not just the outfit, it's the haircut, the gel in your hair. These things do matter to an extent. And you'll notice that even with Matt D'Avella and his simple charcoal t-shirt, he still embodies certain elements of fashion to his choice of that one item. Notice how it's not a hoodie or something very childish, or or something like an oversized jacket, or anything like that. He's choosing a timeless piece that fits well in a color that is most versatile. So it's not like you can just take this and run with it and expect the exact same results. If my younger high school self saw that, I would have totally misinterpreted that and worn something crazy like my crazy red and black striped hoodie that obviously makes you look pretty childish, and it was oversized too. I thought it fit well in the time, but now with a better fashion sense, it was way too billowy, the leg, the arms, everything. So it would made me look very bad. And so, I could totally see people misinterpreting that and running with it in the wrong way. Now, as a final thing, because this video is getting long, I want to just kind of touch on what he said with his wife. He said, I love the dynamic between him and his wife, because you would expect, a lot of angst or issues. By the way, I just painted, which is why my hands have all this paint on them. But you would expect a lot of angst and fighting, or a wife that's very similar to him. But his wife is actually much more kind of mainstream in a lot of his videos. He did a whole video where he kind of like went super minimalist, and his wife has all these cooking supplies and spices and hundreds of little knickknacks in the kitchen. And that same thing with fashion. He's wearing the same shirt every day, and then he cuts to his wife in the video, and she will go through 6 outfits a day apparently, and spend hours deliberating which outfit to wear in the mornings. I'm pretty sure he's probably exaggerating. Hours, maybe it's minutes. But what I wanted to say here was he acknowledges the whole process of how his wife really enjoys it. Similar with the whole minimalism thing. His wife enjoys those spices. They bring him joy. They spark joy in her. And so I think it's a great point. That point is that, you have to ask yourself, and it's a shame that he waits until the last couple minutes to say this, but the point is, you have to look at your wardrobe and ask yourself what really sparks joy, and what's something that I actually end up wearing frequently and I actually feel comfortable and happy wearing. And for his wife, she loves it all. She loves the deliberation and the deciding. And so have at it. He likes the simplicity. So have at it. And he's cleared out all the crap and the waste. And so that's something that you have to piece out yourself. For me, it's a little bit different. Same philosophy, but different. There was a time where I bought a bunch of flashy clothing, t-shirts with all this gold embroidery on them. Never wore them. I bought an Ed Hardy t-shirt with a deep V-neck. Never felt comfortable. Never wore it once. I thought it would look so cool, and then I just chickened out. Same thing with the flashy thing. I knew it would have been too much, and it wouldn't have been me. So it's about being comfortable in what you wear and finding that out, and also choosing the things that actually wear often. With my wardrobe, there's stuff that I buy and then I realize I never wear it at all. Maybe once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, if that. And so recognizing this and adjusting because of that can make a huge difference based on your lifestyle. If you're in a more casual work style, maybe you don't need that 3-piece suit or suit at all. Maybe not until the wedding or something like that. So, you don't need to buy 3 suits. Start to kind of pare away. And he concludes with a great point, which is just to start throwing away the stuff that you're not wearing, not using, not comfortable in, or not bringing you any benefit. And so I would just say, he brought up some good points, but don't take it verbatim. Take it in your own wake. Don't just copy him and just wear one t-shirt every day, because you will be losing out on some benefits. He's already married, so that's another thing. If you're a single guy and you want to improve dating, that's a different situation. Dressing well does matter. So that's all for you, and hopefully it helps. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. See you later.